For full episodes as they air, listen to Rants Hollywood Talk on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and blogtalkradio.com/GrantsRants.
Broadcasting from Hollywood, California, it's Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk.
Why is Bill Cosby making a joke of his own trial? We closely examine the Real Housewives of Orange County Season 12 trailer, judge the direction of Bravo, and critique upcoming summer and fall broadcast shows with a special TV panel. Let the ranting begin. Here we are for another great panel show. Here to talk about summer television, what's coming up in the fall, and a bunch of a mess in between. We have a full panel, a very diverse group. Many demos here to talk about television. Let's start from, to my left, from the state of Rhode Island, it's June Flori.
Hi there.
Hello.
Glad to be here in California.
You're here from episode 5, 16, 26, 45, and 56. And that now makes you tied with the most guested guest. So there you are.
All-star.
Welcome to the show. Yes, an all-star. And someone else from the beginning, Megan Stecher is here.
Hello, happy to be here.
6, 20, 50, 53, and now 61.
Yes.
I love bringing people back to the show, of course. And someone who's never had their own one-on-one show, but has been here twice from 42 and 44, it's Jesse D'Angelo.
Back in Studio G. I know, I just come for the panels, apparently.
Yeah. Well, you know I want you to do the regular one-on-one.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, we will. And for episode 48, Lexie Stack has returned.
Hi, I'm happy to be on a panel.
Yes. I think you'd be great to talk TV. I think it's going to be a good one. All of us. We all love reality TV, which is, our forte on the show. And there's plenty of stuff in between that we don't like, which is even more fun, I think. But let's talk about someone perhaps none of us like, Bill Cosby. Are you following the trial or what? It's not as big as I thought it was going to be.
No, same. I feel like I'm really getting filled in through Wendy Williams on what's going on. She even took a live feed from a Philadelphia reporter from the courthouse. So that's kind of how I found out what's going on. Mm-hmm. I also watched the video from the Today Show, their report outside the courthouse. So that's kind of how I found out about what's going on with the defendant's claims and kind of all the stuff that the lawyers have been presenting. It seems like she kind of had her own hand in her experience with, she took drugs from the man.
Right. You're talking about the accuser, Andrea Constand.
Yeah. So I believe her. I was working at the Philadelphia CBS station years ago, and a woman came forward there, and we had an exclusive with her, and that was kind of before it lit up with the 60 accusers or however many we're up to now. So I kind of knew back then this was what was going on. I just can't believe the level it's gotten to. Mm-hmm. I am surprised the trial's not as big of a deal. I'm very disappointed with his courtroom antics.
The joking around.
Dancing. He's supposed to be blind and needed to be helped in, but yet he stops and dances.
Yeah.
It's all very, very disappointing and ruining my childhood, but.
Even if he is 100% innocent, you're still up for these serious accusations. So it shows that you're not taking anything seriously. I don't have any respect for that.
You know why? Because he probably knows that he's going to get off. So he's just happy dancing about it because he knows he's going to get off.
I think he is going to get off.
Yeah, he will.
I don't think it's right.
No. Yeah.
But I think especially if there are black jurors, I definitely think that there's a soft spot for him. And I know this because I messaged a friend who's actually been on the show in San Francisco. And he is like, he's innocent until proven guilty. He's only guilty of being a womanizer. It's all hearsay. I said, well, what do you think about the 60 plus women? What about the term where there's smoke, there's fire? And he said, oh, that's just made up. But I feel like people really are still coming to his defense. He's got these escorts taking him in and out to save public face. A bunch of nobodies. No one worth anything.
And no one says that about Leonardo DiCaprio, who's a womanizer.
Oh, yeah.
Think about all these other womanizers that no one has these types of claims about. I believe where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't know, in particular this person's story, but I'm sure some of them, if not all, it was a shady situation.
Yeah, there's a lot of common things. They follow the patterns. That's very similar. They've all kind of been into the similar states of duress, and there's a pill involved. And
they all have kind of the same story.
Now,
these women all didn't get together and say, "Oh, let's all say the same thing."
Yeah, there's a high number
all
of
different
women.
places.
So.
Yeah, now Granny June has been following Bill Cosby for a long time.
Yeah.
So you're not surprised by any of this?
No, I'm not. No, I heard things about him when I was first married, going back years.
What?
I heard stories about him then, and from then on, I never wanted to have anything to do with
My
him.
mother said the same thing.
See that?
Growing up, we were not allowed to watch his show, and that's when he was like Family Man.
Yes.
She hated him. There was no reason why. She just always said, he's fake, he's a jerk, this and that. And my brother and I thought she was a little crazy. And then now,
there were stories about him. Stories about him years and years ago when my kids were small. That goes back, years. Stories about him with women. And they were very, very down to detail, And when I heard that, I just didn't want anything more to do with him. So I'm not surprised about this.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And I remember hearing jokes on TV shows, like 30 Rock, for example. Earlier on in the series, there was a joke in one of the episodes that Tracy Morgan's character said about his mom. One of the other characters was pretending to be Bill Cosby, doing an impression on the phone to mess with Tracy Morgan's character, and he made some comment about him trying to drug his mom or something. It was a joke, but this is over a decade ago. So,
it's been in the atmosphere for a while for him. Well, there's all these reports. They're so visual of like what went on, and everything leads back to all this heavy petting and touching under clothes, and it's very graphic. But it's all this petting. They claim that's as far as it goes, but.
What a gross word.
Way.
Yeah.
In that context, I'm like...
He even bought her, this lady, we have her photo here, Andrea. She's got a real mop of a hairdo. He bought her a straightener for over $200.
What?
She didn't use it.
She did not use it.
It was not used.
Well, I guess he likes women's hair straight.
That's just what I heard years ago.
Really?
Yes, that's what was part of it.
Well,
He had a fetish for women with slicked back hair. They had to be really slicked back and tied back real tight. That's how he liked them, and that's what turned him on. So that's why he bought her a straightener, but I guess it didn't work.
Well, I was going to say maybe her walking into the courthouse with this big mop is like her way to say F, an F to him.
Yeah,
That's a good
that's
point.
true.
Well,
that's true.
the defense now is trying to out her as a lesbian. In this month of Pride, here we are, trying to just straight out this woman in a very public way. Who knows? I mean,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't change what happened.
No,
No,
exactly.
it doesn't
Exactly.
Erroneous.
Exactly. And you know what?
Exactly.
Where society's coming like leaps and bounds as far as inclusion of all walks of life, I think they're going to get slammed a little bit for that.
Yeah, they should. Because that has nothing to do with that, like you said, erroneous. Yeah. So what else? What can I say? I talked about my friend who's like, I don't know, acquaintance who's been on this show, who said like, really shouldn't be this dramatic, and that she's lying about the phone because apparently phone records say that the day she was incapacitated that she was making calls, so something didn't match up. But her mother took the stands and had a bunch of stuff to say, and the mother saw things in her daughter change, and that's when she opened up to her mother about it. So I'm sorry, but public opinion has him convicted anyway. I don't believe he's innocent, but I do believe he's going to get off.
Oh, he will. Yeah.
So
That's why he's dancing around. He doesn't take it seriously.
yeah, well, we're waiting on Camille, his wife, to show up. That's a big controversy.
I thought that was so interesting. She's staying at home, yet all of his former coworkers are arm in arm with him walking in each day.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about.
They said that she was due to make or this is all alleged, but they said she was supposed to make an appearance when the defense can now address the case. So that was when it gets bad. I mean, I don't know. But
Didn't they say
she's so
before-
disgraced.
Didn't they say before that she was well aware of all these things and didn't let it bother her?
Is that true? I
I've
don't know.
heard that as well.
Yeah.
And I've heard it's strategic that she's not there through his law team, as far as it's something to do with making him look better and keeping her out of it.
Oh.
I can't remember the full long explanation, but it's better for him if she's not there. Having no
probably so people forget about that part too.
Right,
like I already have.
Yeah, but he's married and womanized all these people at the same time.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way she doesn't know about all these phone calls. They show the shots of their house in Philadelphia where all these alleged acts happened, and he's over at the Beverly Hills Hotel and the bungalows. I mean, when you have 60 plus women you're screwing around with, how can you hide that from your wife? So, I don't know. I don't know how to end this topic because I don't wish him luck. I mean...
No, I have no sympathy for him.
No, but it'll be interesting to see where it goes. And I wonder if the people on the jury and the people who are part of this thought this would be like another OJ, big American crime thing.
Right.
And it just isn't. It just is not getting the attention. In fact, the morning shows are really only covering this every other day. It's not like the first top story in the morning that they're going to get to. It's really a footnote. People, I guess, just don't care.
Which is sad because it says something about how our society still views and handles sexual assault cases. You know?
Right.
That's true. True. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's turn our attention to the group of the OC ladies.
Yay!
Real Housewives of Orange County is set to return for, I believe, July 10th. And the promo is out. We all watched the show here except for Granny June, right?
I never watched it. No.
No, she's not into it. But that's what I want to know about why. I made her watch the promo. Very disinterested. I want to know why.
Just don't like the main characters in it.
Yeah, it just never was her show.
Just can't. I don't know. It may sound crazy, but I never cared for that main person there.
Oh, Vicky?
With the dimples.
Yeah. She doesn't like Vicky.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. I mean, a lot of people are really against her anyway, so... Anyway, let's talk about the promo with the way... Megan, you tweeted about this. You said it was really good. What were the words you used?
I can't remember. I thought it was iconic. Okay, stand by.
Their promo department is epic. They make every season look like it's going to be the best season yet.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
The voiceover with the faint sound of seagulls and the waves. It was like...
building.
It was like a shot on like Big Little Lies or something.
Yes.
Like just this heavy drama. You just hear the voices come in and you're like, oh my God, this is just
So
going to
good.
be...
And all those voice shots, that was like bringing me back to where the show ended, which I thought it ended too soon. They had so much they could have kept going with. Where something like Beverly Hills could end at any time because it's one storyline for 25 weeks. But OC could have went on for another couple because it was so good last season. So I was really like hoping that it would go longer or would come back quicker. But it aired June 20th last year. That's when it started. So now it's July 10th this year. So I guess you really do gotta wait like about 9 months for these shows to come back, which is too long for this show because this is one of the ones that actually has content. So I really like that. Lydia is back, and I don't know who asked for that. Who cares?
No one cares.
I heard a little theory that maybe they brought her back to link up with Tamra on the whole being very religious aspect of things, so that maybe the two of them
So she's a
could be
co-pilot.
a little friendship
Yeah.
click.
Or maybe she could call Tamra out if she's not super religious.
If she's not religious. Yeah, I think
know.
Lydia, apparently they said, like, I read that they met in Bible study and they reconnected. It's very convenient. You know, I think it's like a line just to say that they're both religious, but yeah. And there's a new housewife, also the official 100th housewife of the franchise, Peggy, who doesn't look...
She looks nothing like a Peggy.
I know.
She looks like she belongs on Wags.
I'm like, is
Yes.
this Sweet Home Oklahoma? Like what's the...
She looks like, I don't know if she's like a Middle Eastern or Iranian or what, but she's a very different flavor from Shannon or something like that.
Like a cousin of the Shaws of Sunset.
Yes.
Yeah, she looks a little out of place.
Shannon in the poor stomach shot.
Oh, I know.
I couldn't believe it. They paused. They paused on her tummy.
What did she do to production to deserve that?
I don't know. It was interesting, though, to see her hugging Kelly in one of the shots. So that'll be...
I've got to
Good to see.
admit, I had no idea it was Shannon for most of the promo.
Wow.
I was like, who's this new housewife? Like, the weight gain, I didn't know it was her.
Yeah.
When she blamed it on Vicky, my favorite moment of the trailer.
Or David. Or by Vicky you meant David. That's where the stress is coming from.
I mean, is the mistress's name Vicky?
Yeah. Right.
So good.
So Gretchen is going to be joining as a friend of the Housewives. She's recruited by Don and Vicky.
And Lizzie, I saw her at that table.
Right,
next
Lizzie.
to Gretchen.
Again, another one that no one asked for.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
whatever. But having Gretchen there, even making friend of appearances, makes up for the casting of Lydia, because Lydia is a total waste.
Mm-hmm.
But at least they went back and were like smart about bringing someone that people want to see. At least I want to see Gretchen.
I want to see Gretchen.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kelly Dodd says there's a new puppet master, and that was my favorite part because that was like her line last season, the puppet master, and she was all wrong about how it worked. And so I want to know who this new puppet master is going to be.
Huh.
I don't know. I don't think that new Peggy one gets too involved because she wasn't even in that promo.
No, but she'll have to come up with something if she wants to stick around.
Yeah.
All of the franchises have been hitting real duds with their add-ons. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Eden really didn't
Eden.
rise
yeah.
to the occasion.
Tinsley's letting me down.
Tinsley
Yes.
fell flat so fast. Yeah.
Fall so hard so fast.
Well, let's take a look at some summer TV shows. We are here to talk about television, of course. So there's a bunch of shows that are coming out. Some are returning, some are new, and some are lousy. I mean, let's be real. So let's take a look at some shows that we are enjoying or we think we'll enjoy. What's coming out that's catching your attention? Who wants to go first?
I'll
Lexie?
go. Yeah. So the first one that's catching my attention is called Glow, which stands for Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. And it's based on wrestlers in the 80s. And I think it's supposed to be comedy, right?
Yes.
And Allison Brie's in it. And I'm biased because one of the girls in it, my boyfriend actually worked with on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. So she was Rachel Bloom's assistant and now has a role in this, which is really cool.
Good.
Yeah, so that one I will definitely be watching. And then the other one I noted was The Sinner with Jessica Biel and Bill Pullman.
I just watched The Sinner.
You saw the pilot?
Yeah, I saw the pilot of it.
Wild, right?
Wild, and I didn't expect to like it.
Me either, and I'm so interested in seeing how, like, where it will go, how the, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that was a show I recommended to you, Granny. That show Sinner. I think that you might find that interesting.
A lot of them I am interested in, but I don't get those channels. I don't go online with them.
Yeah, like Netflix and
I don't
HBO
get
and
it.
all that. Yeah.
And Daytime Divas will be a viral clip type show.
Yeah.
Like whenever something's good or buzzy, I'll probably watch. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it was Daytime Divas. I was very curious to see that show. Of course, I put it on, but I literally haven't had a second. So I watched the first 15 minutes this morning on an air mattress, a new low. But I did watch the first 15, and look, this is no premium drama. This is nothing you'd see on Showtime. I mean, this is a VH1 original series with the executive producer being Star Jones. So set the expectations.
Yeah.
But I love Vanessa Williams, and she plays the same role in everything now. But I really enjoyed the show for the most part. I thought it was good. It's that trashy, like romance novel type poolside read type show. So I'll look at that because it's nonsense. And of course it's an insight at the worst show in television.
I was gonna say your obsession.
The worst show. In fact, I'm going to New York coming up, and I was determined to get tickets, and I wanted to go to The View. I thought it would make a fantastic podcast. But of course, because I would talk about like everything that I saw and everything I assumed was wrong about it, which would be everything. But they're not. They're on hiatus because it's around the 4th of July. So.
Oh, right.
But I'm really upset about that. But I would love to get an inside look. I'm overdue for a visit to that set. But I wonder if they would even let me on. I've spoken so negatively on all platforms for years.
They have your headshot right at the door. Security.
So yeah, that one, I'm looking forward to Orange is the New Black. Always loyal to that show. I'm very interested in that. That's actually, at the time of recording this show, has returned, but I haven't had a split second to look at it. And I don't really binge. I really kind of just watch like one a month.
God bless you.
And then it comes back. And I'm like, oh good, I don't have to wait. But I don't know why. I just like to bank my shows, So that's it. I mean, what other ones, Megan? What was on your radar?
I had heard a few days ago about Friends from College, which is going to be on Netflix, and it was actually the E! News, their TV expert correspondent, lovely lady who's been there forever, and I cannot remember her name right now.
Kat Sadler?
Not Kat.
I know this.
She's hardly ever on camera.
Carissa.
Anywho, she did a fabulous, like, here's all the great shows this summer you should be watching, and she mentioned it as, like, everyone's always been trying to remake Friends since Friends. And she's like, honestly, I think this is the best attempt I've seen. So that got me, and I watched the trailer, and I loved it.
What is it called?
Friends from College. And it stars Fred Savage, who doesn't love him?
Love, yeah.
So, and also, Key and Peele, it's Key, what is his full name? Keegan-Michael Key is in it as well. And he's married to Colby, I'm saying her name right, Smulders of How I Met Your Mother. So it's a lot of big names, and it's on Netflix, so they can really, like, go there with the comedy and the budget. So I want to check that one out for sure. Yeah. And I also, The Sinner looks like fascinating to me too. I actually thought that was maybe going to be another streaming network show, and the fact that it's on USA, like on cable, I'm like, okay, like good for them. They're really going there. Yeah. It just looks like an amazing thriller. It's going to be interesting to see how they make an entire series out of one incident. Like it seems like it would be like a 2-hour movie, but we'll see. I mean, good for Jessica Biel. Her acting in this promo was amazing.
And this is her first series regular since Seventh Heaven.
I know. Yeah.
She really delivers a strong performance throughout that pilot. Yeah. Like she doesn't have much dialogue, but it's all you can see, all things going on in her head, and you don't know what it is. So it makes you you're waiting for a scene where they discuss this, and they never do. So of course you want to keep watching to see where it all leads and what her problem is. And I know nothing. I don't know anything about it other than the pilot, but that was a good one. What about you, Jesse?
I had Glow as well. It wasn't really on my radar, but I have a friend who worked sort of behind the scenes in post on it, and she told me about it. She's like, I almost finished the whole thing. It's really good. I'm like, who's in that? And she told me about Allison and Mark. So I watched the trailer for that, and I think that looks really funny. And Broad City, I love Broad City, and that's coming back. Orange is the New Black. I'm like, I think I'm done.
You think you're done?
They lost me a little while ago. Yeah.
I heard
sad to say.
Yeah, I've heard bad things.
Yeah. I enjoy it.
The same producers that are doing Glow from Orange is the New Black.
Oh, really? And Glow is on what? Netflix?
Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all of these shows that we're referring to a list on businessinsider.com. You'd think you'd see stocks there, but no, that they're recommending these shows for the summer. Let's look at what shows we are not interested in watching this summer. And the first one that stuck out to me, you're talking about Netflix, the show Ozark stood out to me as one that I will not be participating in. Jason Bateman, Laura Linney, it sounds great to start. And, they're a family they're being uprooted from a Chicago suburb, and they're going to a resort community in the Ozarks. I was like, okay, but they're only moving there because they're running from a drug lord.
Yeah.
So I'm not interested in that because I'm just not. It's just, there's enough of that.
I thought the trailer looked fascinating, like really well done. And seeing Jason Bateman do drama was like, whoa, okay, all right.
I get that.
But, to keep something like that going, I feel like it's a storyline we've seen in a lot of ways, in a lot of formats. So
isn't that like the subplot to Breaking Bad? You know what I mean? Like, if that's the whole thing, that's not enough.
What platform is that on?
Netflix.
Oh, that is Netflix. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, they really are like owning it every season. There's always something new coming out from them.
I am not going to be watching the Ozarks.
Well, I'm not very interested in daytime divas.
No.
Who cares about Star Jones?
There we go.
She's still selling shoes.
No, I don't know. But she's still riding the coattails and being on The View 10 years ago.
Yeah.
She subs in every once in a while, right?
Yeah.
She's not really. What if they extend her a guest? She's like there, like the first one in the studio.
And one that I'm really not interested in is the sci-fi about blood drive. All the cars are run on blood.
Oh yeah, same for me.
Oh,
that was
that is absolutely gross.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's Mad Max in the vein of Mad Max.
What nutty person thought of that?
Yeah, I know that's something we can all agree on.
I mean, this James Rowland. He was an assistant producer on Mad Men, which I loved. But what made him think of cars running on blood? That's really something.
Yeah.
So I mean, those I definitely will not be looking at.
I can't even recall the ones I'm not interested in because as soon as I saw the description, I was like, I couldn't have scrolled faster. So I can't even remember the ones.
That's why, I made a few notes here. Yeah.
No, I know a lot of them really didn't do anything for me either. No.
A lot of hard passes.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So what about you, Alexie?
I had Blood Drive, and then I just put House of Cards and Game of Thrones because I'm a unicorn who hasn't seen either yet.
Yeah.
Give me a high five.
I've never watched House of Cards.
So I can't watch the new season.
I've never watched House of Cards.
Game of Thrones, I've never had one desire to watch that ever. My boyfriend is religiously watches it. I could not run out of the room faster, but House of Cards is like something that I don't ever watch it without him because it's that good that I'm like, I wouldn't cheat on you. Like, we're going to watch this together.
Good to know.
We're an entire season behind because our schedules never match up for work, but like, it's that good that I'm like,
I'll have to watch it.
I don't have very many shows that I do give my time to, and House of Cards is like, I would recommend that to everybody.
Oh, good to know.
No,
I watched the pilot years ago when it was the first Netflix show. I was like, oh, I have to see what this is. And it just didn't speak to me. But maybe I should give it a shot. I think I'm a lot more involved in the political climate and informed now than I was back then. I didn't really care back then about anything. Now I can't help but care.
Well, I made a joke on Twitter saying, like, about the Comey trials, like, oh, this season of The Americans is so wild because I've recently gotten into The Americans. So I'm sad that's not on this summer because they feel like that would be...
I know that's your show.
Oh, my God. So I've never really, like, binged watched season after season after season, but I did that with The Americans. I crunched in 4 seasons in 2 months and then watched the season that just ended. Like, on time, like, week to week. Mm-hmm. So that was an experience.
Yeah.
I'm not caught up, but that's a good show.
You know, it's so timely. It just, looking at the Cold War we had just a few decades ago to what could be going on maybe right under our noses right now, it's just a little mind-blowing. So.
Right. Well, that'll do it for our likes and dislikes for summer television. When we return, we will take a look at fall TV, these broadcast shows that are coming out and what we're interested and not interested in. And we're going to have some casual conversation about Watch What Happens Live. So stay here.
You're listening to Grant's Rants. Subscribe and spread the word. There are a lot more rants to come. Listen anytime on all major podcasting platforms. And now, back to the show.
And we're back talking with Granny June, Megan Stecher, Jesse D'Angelo, and Lexie Stack as we take a look at Watch What Happens Live and Bravo. Now, the majority of us here attended the live taping here in Los Angeles of Watch What Happens Live. And if you're anything like me, you had kind of a mixed reaction to the whole thing. Megan and I went, and we were so out of our element in downtown LA.
Oh my gosh. I dressed up big time because I heard a little rumor, like, if you really dressed up, like, you'll get down in the front and you'll definitely get seated, because we all just had to show up and stand in line with the masses and hope to get in. So we got there plenty early, and I limped, I don't know how many blocks. We took public transportation, as the East Coast people that we are, and I limped, I don't know how many blocks down to the theater, and then we had to stand outside for an hour. So, but we got good seats.
We did. We got really good seats. I was glad about that.
Yeah. We got free alcohol.
True. I never had that on a show. Yeah, that's true. The experience of going to these shows is long and arduous, I think. It's like a lot of waiting. Hurry up and wait. You've got to be here, and you've got to get in these seats, and then you wait for the show, and then they throw T-shirts at you, and then... it starts and it's over before you know it, Right. I don't know. To me, I think we both agreed that we probably don't need to do it again, but we were glad we did it.
Yes. And I was super happy that Andy is, genuinely so into his job. I think my favorite part of it was when he came out before the show started and did a little Q&A with the audience. He could not have been more excited to be out there and be applauded, and he's so into his job, which is nice. Sometimes people just are so overdoing the same thing every day that
and it shows.
They don't, and it shows. So that was great. I thought the worst part was when we wanted to leave after having been there for hours on end, they wouldn't let us go to the restroom.
Yeah, that was hard.
The same thing happened to us, and we were with the pregnant woman.
They blocked off the doorway to go to the restroom, and they're like, sorry, their restrooms are closed. And I go, seriously? Meaning, I really have to go to the bathroom, and some very smart-mouthed stage assistant goes, yeah, seriously. And I said, go back to New York.
Oh, you mean after the show, like the taping was done?
Right. They give you 2 free cocktails, and then you can't go to the bathroom? I mean, they're handing you drinks. I mean,
the river runneth through me.
They know you're not going to go during the taping.
That would never do for me.
You're not allowed to leave the studio during the taping, so I can't.
No. Jesse, what was your experience like?
I kind of agree with you guys. I think the guests for mine were Chelsea Handler and Armie Hammer. Chelsea, I liked. Armie was, I don't know if you knew what he signed up for.
I still don't know who he is.
He played the twins in The Social Network, the Facebook movie, and he's in some gay movie coming out.
Oh, he's in a gay movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Literally a gay movie. I'm not saying it. You know.
Yeah. An LGBT film.
Yeah, an LGBT film. Thank you for proper words to classify that. I think I would do it again if I knew ahead of time who the guests were and it was worth it. Like, I think we all shared in the opinion that if we had been on the episode where it was Bethany and every other amazing housewife.
What was that? That was my issue with the whole thing, was that you're coming to Los Angeles. It's the first time. So why isn't there the most top bookings for every single show?
Yeah.
Plus, we actually really just, as Bravo fans, want to see the Bravo celebrities.
Right.
So why were they all in one episode together, and the rest of the episodes were so weak?
Where was Jeff Lewis? They caught him out for everything. He lives in Los Angeles.
Right. And Jenny Poulos, his assistant.
Yeah.
Even the OC girls could have traveled.
Right.
Yeah. If they were smart, they would have dropped that promo that week when he was here, and they could have had Tamara be a bartender or whatever to talk about it, or have that ridiculous Lydia be the bar. She's like bartender status. You can stick her on the bartender. And like, what was the point of having James do the DJ? They didn't interact with him at all.
I think it's to introduce. He'll probably be back working at Pump for this next Vanderpump Rules. That would be my guess, because last we heard he was fired. And Lala was gone, and now you see on social media, Lala's working at Vanderpump Dogs, and Sir, he's DJing again, so
yeah, they're
I think
definitely
that tells you casting.
Right, yeah. So, what else do we want to say about Bravo? Watch What Happens Live, just in general, no matter what coast they're on, I'm very disappointed by a lot of the booking on that show, because I thought that was an alternative show where you would see someone like Vicky Gunvalson. You're never going to see her on The Tonight Show or on Conan, but she would do they would put her on What Happens Live. So it was like alternative programming. So when someone writes a book, they do The View, Wendy, Good Morning America, and Andy Cohen. It's like, it's the same. It's not exciting to me. I like alternative guests. I know. Everything now is so niche. You'd think they would embrace being like a niche show. With different types of people that people care about, you pick and choose.
Mm-hmm. And when I went, Lisa Vanderpump got a much larger applause than either Hilary Swank or Kay Mara. So people, the audience there, they want to see the Bravo celebrities, and at least do one of each.
Right. It says Bravo would. And then there's no Bravo content. And at least the show with Conan O'Brien that we went to, there was zero Bravo content in the whole show.
Well, I think it's disappointing when the celebrity knows nothing about Bravo, and it also seems like they don't even know where they are. When the celebrity actually does love Bravo and can lend to that conversation, then I'm okay with them having been booked.
Like Michael Rappaport.
Yes. My favorite guest of all time.
Always.
Yeah. How often do you watch What Happens Live?
Well, I watch it only when it has the Housewives, when they have people from the Housewives.
There you have it.
Yeah.
I watched it when Conan O'Brien was on, but he looked as though he didn't even care if he was there or not. To me, he didn't seem very interested in it.
Same.
And that's what you guys said about him.
He had his coat on the whole time. It was almost like hurry up.
Yeah. I never cared for Conan O'Brien anyway. But
And tell me why. Where is he a guest anywhere else? Nowhere. Why was he booked as the only guest? I think it's shady. I think he was I'll do this if I'm solo.
Yes.
Which literally only Bethany and Oprah and Cher get solo shows. You are none of those. Bye.
Right. Yeah.
And Kim Kardashian, apparently.
Exactly.
I mean, this man went as far as to say, I hate games. I mean, 18 out of the 20 minutes of the show are games.
Right.
And again, if he was like a Bravo celebrity super fan, that would be different. At least you would have that, but he could have cared less. Like with us, Chelsea and Army, like Chelsea, you know, she's a host herself, so she was good, but Army was saying pass to everything Andy was asking, to the point that half of the audience started booing him. And Andy actually looked out to us. You could tell he was pissed. He was like, don't boo my guest. And I was like, oh,
book a better one.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then in the after show, they asked Army a question about like some Gossip Girl stuff. And before he could answer, Chelsea goes, listen, you are so far past your time on that show. I think it's okay for you to talk about it. I suggest you don't pass on another question.
No way.
Yeah. She cut in. Andy was like, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, no, you gotta play the game, especially if you're a guest on someone's show.
Don't go on the show if you don't want to play.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's right.
Mm-hmm. Bravo in general is making some interesting choices with programming, and they're really trying to go in a new direction. And I really don't care for the new letters and the marketing of what they're doing. I don't know. They're looking to get straight, white, very wealthy males to watch Bravo because they're trying to grow their audience, and that's kind of the only market that isn't consuming Bravo content. So they added disco music, and they made the font in lowercase. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying. There's nothing that has changed in the programming there. I mean, like Cyrus versus Cyrus, which is performing so poorly.
Oh.
Who's gonna watch?
Who cares about flipping homes like that?
I mean, if Miley's
Jeff
not on the
Lewis.
show, we don't care.
Yeah, I like Jeff Lewis. Yeah, I watch him all the time.
That's what
I
they
like
need
that.
is like the personality-driven docu-follows that no one does anymore. It's like that's so out of vogue now, but it will all come back. And that's when I'm ready to pounce. When they get back into reality TV. Because everything is all about these scripted shows. I mean, we just covered all those summer shows, which is supposed to be a time to catch up on shows or light TV, you know, they burn off a show from the fall that didn't perform well. But these are all big shows. So, I don't know. But as for Bravo, the message is off for me. It's just, I feel like it's like there's like 5 Bravo execs, like 2 are like the original ones, and it's like these 3 with these big ideas trying to put their stamp on it. That's my opinion.
What I think is if you've really nailed a niche market, why do you need to reinvent the wheel or, you know, whatever metaphor you want to use? I think don't alienate your viewers because it's such a strong fan base. Don't mess it up. Like,
keep us happy.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say, and this is with no inside intel. This is from my own point of view and not a reflection of NBC Universal. But I think that I always have to say that on the show now.
You should.
Disclaimer.
But I think that the cable in general, whether you're ESPN, which is doing poorly, whether you're VH1, which is barely on, you know, I mean, these networks are doing tough. So Bravo has a very high income audience, and they do have stable content that does well for them. Atlanta Housewives is a good example. So I think a lot of executives turn their attention to see what was working, and it's like too many hands in the kitchen. I think that's like we have to like enhance this and grow this, and this is what's working, and you know we get like Oxygen, they have to completely redo and rebrand. So now it's just too much focus on Bravo, and that's when you lose your way.
Yeah, and
I hope not. I could be wrong.
I think back to the white male viewing, I know a lot that like Southern Charm, that like Vanderpump Rules, and most of the Housewives they'll watch. They might be brought in by co-viewing, you know, if their girlfriend makes them, but they will watch. Now even my boyfriend, he'll look forward to the Atlanta reunions, New York, you know, you can't miss it. So I agree with Megan. I think if something, you know, isn't broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
It's working.
Because when it comes down to it, it's reality television, but once you actually watch it, you know, for these men or whatever, you can't write this
You're
stuff.
hooked.
You cannot write
and
this
it's
stuff.
an escape
Yeah.
from, you know, your day.
Yeah, I saw some marketing material for like upfronts for Bravo, and on all the shows, Odd Mama, all the shows, and it didn't say Real Housewives. And I was like, wow, really?
Your bread and butter.
You know? I mean, Orange County Housewives is starting season 12. I mean, how can you not acknowledge these shows?
I only have one thing to say about that. How dare you? That was my best
Your
impression.
Eileen.
That was my best Eileen.
Let's look at new fall broadcast TV shows. We're talking a lot of TV here, but we want to know what you think as well, and if you agree with us, let us know, because we're only looking at shows that are coming out in the fall. There are mid-season shows, but some of these mid-season shows, last year we did this panel. I ragged on that show on ABC, Downward Dog, and they literally put it out like last month. They knew it was a turd, so they held on to it as long as they could.
What is that?
They had to put it out.
A yoga show?
No, it's an ABC sitcom about a talking dog and this woman that he lives with.
Hard pass.
Yeah. So we're talking about the same network that had that show, The Neighbors, with the aliens.
Oh, yeah.
So the standard for ABC comedy is dirt low, except for a Modern Family. But
I actually love Blackish. I know you speak ill of Blackish, but I love Blackish as well.
I've never watched it. What are you laughing at over there?
Dirt low.
So good.
My thoughts. That's what I feel. So a show that I'll look at. No one else is going to watch. It'll probably be canceled. But I'm going to look at Dynasty on the CW.
I am so with you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I put it as no only because, again, I haven't seen the original. So I don't know if I should watch the original, then this, or just start new.
Start new.
Maybe start new?
What do you think?
I haven't watched the original either, and so I'm kind of separating it. But to me, it looks like remember when Gossip Girl first came out, or like the OC?
Yes.
It's from the same producers of those, from the minds behind. But it just looks really good.
Don't worry about seeing the first series, because I looked forward so much to seeing the return of Twin Peaks.
Oh.
I loved Twin Peaks years ago when it was on. I looked at the first one. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I wouldn't even consider looking at it.
Good to know.
So don't worry about looking at the first series, because sometimes they're completely different.
Yeah.
From the.
All right, then yeah.
Yeah.
I want to check it out.
It's a complete reinvention.
I love Grant's show. I like him. The guy that was on Dynasty.
Grant's show.
Yeah.
Oh,
And she loves Grant's show.
I was like, we all love Grant's show. That's why we're here.
Yeah. So I'm going to look at Dynasty. I will.
Oh, good. So I thought I was going to be laughed out of the room.
No.
No, I'm very curious to see. I mean, my expectations, they're not dirt low, but they're like, mid-range. Because it's the CW, and it's not the golden era of primetime soaps anymore. They don't have that.
I think it's perfect to be on the CW because I watched the Dallas reboot. And it was in the vein. It could have been on CW. It was on cable, but it was very CW
and it would have
soapy.
lasted.
Everybody was half naked and in amazing shape and beautiful, and I loved it. But they got abruptly canceled. So
I liked it. Right, that was one that I conveniently just dropped. Like I wasn't motivated to pick up. I think I watched the first season. But anyway, Dynasty I'll look at. And that CBS comedy, I can't believe I'd be interested in a comedy, but Me, Myself, and I would look at with Bobby Moynihan on CBS.
Also on my list.
Yeah, that one I would give a try to. It's different stages of this man's life, comedic situations, 3 actors playing the same character. Am I right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I would take a look at that. You feel the same?
I do, yeah.
Love Bobby Moynihan.
Me too.
So good for him.
Yeah.
It's so hard to come off of SNL and be successful. Very few do it right. So I think this looks like a perfect project to launch yourself. Usually they try to go straight to movie star.
Right.
So I think this is I think it'll get a little buzz, even if it does get canceled in the first year. I think it'll give him great buzz.
Yeah.
And it looks like a great pilot.
It is a risk, though, to leave SNL, which you could just go on and on and on with for a network comedy in 2017.
Kenan Thompson.
I was going to say.
Yeah. He's also, though, doing a sci-fi show, Happy, with Chris Maloney from SVU. Oh. But he's lending his voice only. So he's going to play, it's kind of similar to a comic book, so his voice will play the unicorn that is Chris Maloney's friend.
Oh.
So he's got two little projects brewing. Yeah.
No, I don't feel too bad then. Good for him. So what about you guys? What are you interested in looking at in this fall season on broadcast?
I'm interested in The Good Doctor.
Yes.
Because Freddie Highmore is in that, and I loved him in Bates Motel.
I know, you would always talk
wonderful
about Bates.
actor.
Yeah.
I love Bates Motel. I'm sorry it's over. So that one I will look at. And then there was another one that I was interested, of course, Dynasty. And 9JKL, that's about a guy living in New York, and his parents is on one side, and his brother and sister-in-law next door with their baby. That sounds kind of interesting. Could be funny,
I might look at that because it sounds like a classic sitcom
setup. Yeah. Nothing outrageous, but it might be funny.
What about The Good Doctor? It doesn't appeal to me, but what about you guys?
I think it looks really good. I think America loves a good medical drama. And this one I think looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I didn't really have an interest until I read a poll that surveyed all the studios, and the one that scored the highest was The Good Doctor, and then second was The Brave, and that was on my list.
Yeah, that's on my list too. Yep.
So The Brave. What's The Brave about?
It's about military operatives who put themselves in peril and make personal sacrifices to undertake secret missions behind enemy lines. So it sounds pretty good.
Well, and I think what will make it stand out is they try to solve all their missions in any way other than just using a gun. So if they have to use a gun, it'll be last resort. They're trying to be a smarter show. So
and see, I did not get that from the first look promo, which I think is important because, I have written down there are so many new shows coming out that are about some division of like law enforcement or military.
Yes.
And there's so many that they might all be good, but they're not all going to last
That's true.
in the market.
Yeah.
So something like that could be the difference as far as promotion of it goes, to be like, oh, I'm going to watch that one instead, because you have a SWAT team show coming out, the Navy SEALs, a couple with military, and
everything on CBS.
Such a good point.
Yeah.
But those, I don't know why that's such a trend, because I don't enjoy any of those types of military shows.
I don't either.
Well, and especially now, it's a little sensitive too.
Yeah,
And the subject matter they deal with, I think most people want to go home and not think about
Exactly.
it. So hopefully the spin on it maybe will do well for them, but it'll be interesting to see how far they can go and flesh that out through the whole season.
Yeah. If anything, now I'm really seeking refuge in comedy. I don't want to. You know what I mean? I don't want to flip off the news and then turn on something about war or whatever. Yeah, I'm like, I want to get lost in, not JKL.
On that note, I have a rogue choice. This is reaching. But I kind of want to start watching Kevin Can Wait in the fall because they've dumped their lead actress and picked up Leah Remini. So it will kind of be almost like a whole new show. Like, how are they going to invent where the wife went and why Leah Remini's now a series regular? And of course, everybody wants to check up on like those two, and is the chemistry still there?
Yeah.
So I just thought of that today when I was thinking about.
Wow.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I took Granny by Scientology last night.
Oh, was that fun?
I said, they're coming for your money.
I watched that whole series with Leah Remini.
I loved it.
So good.
Yeah, wasn't it?
They're in the middle of
what
an
an
Emmy push for that.
eye-opener.
Yeah, every time I've been driving by that new Scientology center in North Hollywood, it just freaks me out, the money behind it. It is all hours of the evening, and people are just out there polishing and wiping things down and sweeping up, and I don't see anyone coming in or out. It's like an empty, unused building at this point.
Never. I've never seen anyone coming out of there.
But they just have this real estate presence, I think, for the recruitment.
Yeah.
That's what they do, yeah. They want people to think that they are growing. They're not growing in people. They're growing in real estate. They build all these buildings, but half of them are empty.
Right.
But to show, how prosperous they are. But not in people.
So
in
North
buildings.
Korea.
Yes.
So they have that whole fake village on the border of North Korea?
Really?
Look it up.
No kidding.
Yes, it's empty, and they play propaganda music outdoors all day. It's wild. Listen, I saw it on 60 Minutes.
Oh, wow.
That is what Scientology I will go down the rabbit hole with, and North Korea I will definitely go down the North
Korean rabbit
down the rabbit hole with that one, because that's so interesting, especially when they have journalists in there. Mainly because all the content they have is all like forbidden. It's all secret, like hidden cameras and stuff. So it makes it so much more interesting that you're seeing things that the government doesn't want you to see inside the country. So of course, like the more you dig, the more you see. And I mean, it's all horrible conditions, but it's so strict over there, and they don't even like allow the press to do like outside stuff a lot of the time. Like they have to do it in their like hotel room with the window behind them because they need something to shoot in front of. But it's like, it's so weird. I don't know if I would go over there as a journalist.
No, because I'd be worried you wouldn't be able to leave. That's why they they say, oh, you can take a free tour, and I'm like, how the hell are you getting out?
Yeah.
Because everywhere I go, I'm sort of like you said, the building in North Hollywood is on our way to the studio for AfterBuzz, and then I work right across the street from the Celebrity Scientology Center, and on the other side street on Bronson, across from it, they have housing for I think the Sea Orgs. People that just literally devote their life to that, like don't work, they put them up there, but they give everything, every minute of every hour of every day to there. And I had a friend that used to live in the building next to it, and they said there's like cameras lining the side of the building. Like it's just all very freaky. Like I said, I'm just so fascinated by it.
What do you need all that security for?
Because they obviously have something to hide.
Right.
It's
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Hypothetical.
I started watching that E-series.
The Arrangement.
The Arrangement, yes. And then I couldn't keep up with it all on my DVR, but I did see that they insinuate that, they take people away and lock them up and mess with their heads, so.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
And they have to keep saying it's not based on Scientology, it's not Tom Cruise, that's Kyle West over and over and over.
Because they're so litigious.
Yeah. Let's talk about some shows that we're not interested in, I guess similar to The Arrangement, because none of us watch that. What do we want to talk about that we don't
The
like?
Inhumans.
Yeah, I was going to say
Not
that.
feeling the superhero vibes.
I'm not into that
They're
stuff.
everywhere now. There's just so much. It's overpolluted. And maybe because I'm forced to watch them in theaters with the boyfriend. But I need a break.
It's like they know that's what sells, so they just kill it. They're just like burying it so
What is
far
The
deep into the
Inhumans
ground.
on?
I think it's...
ABC.
ABC.
Of course.
It's like a Marvel...
Those Marvel shows, and even that, I wish they would get rid of that Once Upon a Time or whatever it is.
Like 3 main cast members just left the show and they're still continuing it.
I don't know.
Who's watching?
I don't know. They're like these shows that even shows like Taken, like they adapt from film to television. They just don't work for me. They don't have the budget. They just don't. That Once Upon a Time looks like a $2 show.
Dirt low.
Dirt low production value. ABC.
Renting those costumes.
Where'd they get those costumes? What else? What else are we interested in? For me, it's The Mayor.
Yeah, I was just going to say that too.
Oh, I had that on. I wanted to see that.
Let's debate. Let's talk
Okay,
about
well,
why.
I will say this. In general, I don't think many of the shows on this lineup look bad. But there's a difference between whether it looks bad and whether or not it's gonna last. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
There's some shows I have that look good, but like I said, all the shows about law enforcement and things like that, I think they all look good in their own right, but they're not gonna last. It's just a matter of cancellation season. And even me, myself, and I, we were talking about earlier, I think it looks really good and it's a great idea, but I'm like, is it gonna last?
Right.
But no, The Mayor, I don't know if it's gonna last, but I think it looks funny.
See, to me, I looked at
something
this.
new.
I looked at this Mayor. So The Mayor is about what? What is it?
So
No, it's a young rapper who becomes the mayor, and then he doesn't know what to do with the job. So,
Presidential.
could be.
I wonder where they got the concept from.
Yeah.
At least this guy has a mixtape.
When it comes to The Mayor, this show doesn't do anything for me because I think this is a classic example of ABC being out of touch. I think they're trying to get like a younger viewer, obviously. So we're gonna make him a rapper, and Empire is popular, so let's make him a black rapper, and we're gonna try to make this like the new Empire. I mean, I'm like, I don't know. To me, I just thought it was just a lousy choice. Like, I don't think people are gonna. The viewer they want is not gonna watch the show. Just saying. I don't think they're gonna get it.
I don't like the Gospel of Kevin. Because that's about a celestial being. Who cares? I mean, I don't like anything sci-fi or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
I mean, that's to me is a waste.
And again, you know what I have for that? I think that I like the idea, and I think something like that could be a movie.
Could be, yeah.
Maybe, be better suited as that. And I wrote, it's probably going to get canceled.
Yeah.
Side note,
Scratch
bye.
probably it will. Looks great, side note, you won't last enough.
Fox.
And Fox on the last page there, that showed The Gifted. I wasn't interested in that either. What is that about?
No.
It's basically a Marvel Isn't it Marvel?
No wonder why.
Or Marvel.
No wonder why we're not
from the
interested.
minds of
It's
Marvel. I
about
don't know.
mutant powers. There again.
I need
cares?
a mutant break.
You know,
It
looks
they
like
just keep piling one same thing after another. It gets to be overkill.
looks like heroes.
And have these people learn nothing. Let's look at the last fall season. What show did really well and exponentially well?
This Is Us.
That had nothing to do with beings, vampires,
And heroes reborn
military.
did poorly.
Yeah.
None of these themes are in the number one show on television or in broadcast. So,
Like we said, people are, seeking refuge from what's going on in the world in like very real shows. Yeah, human shows. That's why earlier when you brought up the Friends. What was it called? Friends?
From college.
From college. Shows like that. They're just very real situations, things that are relatable. Not
Yes.
No, and how many shows can you nowadays even watch with your kids that start dialogue? This Is Us is the first. Now
Exactly.
they hit the weight loss. You actually see a husband who wants to be a husband. Nowadays they always kind of focus on the guy who, the old ball and chain doesn't want to be married. So, I think that's why This Is Us hit a lot of people.
And which is why sitcoms are kind of dying as far as the multicam goes. That's why like 9JKL I think looks so funny, but it's so hard to make a multicam stick nowadays that it just makes me nervous, Like you have the Big Bang that's been on for so long, but as far as people taking new multicam sitcoms under their wing, it's not.
as an honorable mention, a show in the fall that I'll look at is Rise. Is that in the fall or is that mid-season?
I think it's going to be
Right.
even later. I think it's going to be mid-season, but maybe 2018.
Oh, okay.
I think it might be an Olympic.
Yeah, it's not listed here for the fall, but that show, just an honorable mention.
That show looks good.
I looked at it, and it's a good companion to This Is Us. I didn't think I would like it because I thought it was going to be all kids singing songs, and I was not a Glee.
Oh.
I couldn't handle anything like Glee. So
I was too.
So I resisted children trying to sing on camera. But this show is actually a well-paced drama. So.
Well, and they're not gonna just, walk down the hallway, I have a crush and sing about it. It's gonna be completely different.
Yeah.
It's everything that they're going through in the production is gonna directly mirror what's happening in the characters' lives. So it's much more Friday Night Lights.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why I think if people give it a chance, it will do better.
Yeah.
Now I know what you're talking about because as soon as you said the singing aspect of it, the girl, I'm assuming she's one of the leads in it, the girl who voiced for Moana, when she performed at the Oscars, she booked that the next day.
Exactly. They announced it,
Yeah.
Oh, that's how I know that girl in that show. I can't think of the actress's name. But yeah, so that's a show to keep an eye open for. Any other honorable mentions around the table?
Well, I'm always disappointed that American Woman, the show that's going to be based on Kyle Richards of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, there was no mention of when that show is going to premiere, which they've been in production pretty heavy for months now.
Right.
That's
So
true.
I was disappointed that info is not out.
And why did I think that would be a summer show?
I kind of thought they were almost trying to make it serious-ish, so like fall promotion. But maybe it would be better in summer. Like the Housewives,
Much competition.
bringing the Housewives band over to that,
Yeah.
to find it in the summer might be easier.
One show I really like that never gets any attention is The Middle. I love that show.
I have a
It's a
couple
real
friends who love that.
family. It's a family with the real problems that people have. I can relate to that.
I think it's almost like no news is good news. How my mom always says, if it's still on and running and there's no bad news, then it's probably doing great.
It is.
Yeah.
And
It does very well for them.
It does.
8:30. That is a family show. You actually could watch one of the 4 on broadcast.
I have to say, Law and Order, the Menendez murders.
Oh, yeah.
I love me a Law and Order, and I love anything true crime. The Menendez brothers, I am so ready for this.
I can't wait.
I hope it's good,
Watch,
I can't wait. I've been into all the crime stuff. Since the OJ miniseries, I've been into all the crime stuff.
And this is interesting how it's completely spun from what we thought of the crime. This is going to be into the minds of the kids and why, versus everyone just assumed the kids wanted their money. So it'll be a different take on
I
it.
don't really know that story. I don't think I have any interest. What do you
well,
think?
I mean, they killed their parents.
Yeah, it was in the middle of Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
It was this huge thing. The next day they're shopping for Rolexes.
Yeah.
It was premeditated. They went to the movies. They had the ticket for an alibi. And so now what's coming out is that they were abused or allegedly abused
that's what they claim,
for years and years and years, and that's why.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But then you have people like me that are like, well, you killed your mom who didn't abuse you, too. And, you know, I don't know.
This was like the first big trial, like right before OJ.
It was huge.
Yeah.
There's a documentary, I think. Not a documentary. I think like a movie version of maybe what the show is going to be coming out first. And Nico's going to be in it, who Jeff at AfterBuzz just interviewed. Nico Tortorella. Yeah, I think he's playing one of the brothers.
Oh, cool.
In the movie version of it,
Didn't one of the brothers get married?
He's married behind bars.
And they separated them so they couldn't go to jail together.
I mean, they're very good-looking young men when this happened, so it was just mind-blowing to everyone across the country.
They seemingly had everything in Beverly Hills. Where did they go wrong?
Well, Granny June, tell us about your experience over at AfterBuzz TV for Book Circle Online.
Well, it was good. Very good experience. AfterBuzz wasn't exactly how I pictured it. I look at AfterBuzz, on television. I thought the studios were much bigger than that. Only little tiny rooms. But it was very good. Fern knew a lot about the book. She really, did her homework and brought up a lot of things about the book. And I was happy to do it with her. It was a nice experience. And the book, they can get it on Amazon or Kindle.
Yeah.
If you buy it on Amazon, you get a free Kindle with it.
The Kindle version.
The name of the book is My Italian Family, Life in the Past Lane. And it's all about my family when, I'm old now. But when I was young, things were very different. And that's why I wrote it, for my children, grandchildren.
I'm buying it. I'm Italian.
I love it. Yes. All New England, all Italian, guys.
Wait, I'm the only non-Italian.
Yeah, so I mean, it's something, you can go on Ancestry, but you're not going to get the personal things that happened in the families.
Yeah.
So
and
true.
I talked about the holidays and how my parents had a struggle. My father came from Italy when he was 7. And he only lived for like 53 years, but he built a lot of churches, big buildings. He really brought himself up from nothing. So that's why I wrote the book. I wanted my children to know what happened in the family. And I'm on the second book because I got such good feedback on the first one.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so I'm on the second one. I have a few more memories to put down, plus some little stories that I think people might be interested in.
Awesome.
Well, I encourage everyone to check out the interview. It really is good to actually listen to it twice. And you can find that on Book Circle Online's YouTube channel. And you can search. It's very easy in iTunes or Apple Podcast, as they call it now. Just search June Flori, and you can find the link to that interview in the description of this episode wherever you are listening to the show. So there you go.
You know what I was going to say is the last thing. All of these shows are really geared towards the younger generations. And I find it hard to find a show that I can really relate to because I'm up there in age. But you'd be surprised. They don't realize, the industry doesn't realize that a lot of older people over 65 in their 70s and 80s love television. Mm-hmm. They find it hard to find a show they can relate to. And they should gear some shows towards the older generations because they have money. And they will buy what commercials advertise. Yeah. But they don't seem to realize
and your generation isn't streaming.
No.
So
right.
Yeah.
I know you're a captive audience.
To me, it's so obvious that that's
exactly
should be the demographic.
Past
the commercials as well.
Yeah. That's what I do. I pass through the commercials. I do, but I mean,
yeah, she does have the DVR.
But a lot of the older people don't.
Right.
They don't, and so they should gear more shows towards the older people.
Yeah. Or if they do, like your ex-husband, he does, but he doesn't DVR. He has a full DVR. He doesn't tape anything and doesn't realize the concept of rewinding live and fast forward. I mean, it's like, so a lot of people just reject that technology, so they sit through every ad.
Right.
But yeah, that's true. I mean, you really, that generation really is much more of a captive audience than us.
And they spend money. They will buy stuff. They have money, so most of them. So
you hear that, execs?
Yeah, words in Madison Avenue. Yes. Well, you guys, thank you for checking out this episode of Grant's Rants. There are a lot more rants to come, of course, as it said, every episode, and that continues. I hope you enjoyed the new sound of this show. We unrolled a new opening VO, and I think that it's pretty good, and a new chapter for Grant's Rants. What did y'all think?
Loved it.
Thank you.
Good.
Very
Profesh.
good. Thank you. All right, you guys keep up with all of us on these social media platforms. Buy Granny June's book, My Italian Family, Life in the Past Lane. And Megan, where can we find you?
All my social media platforms are at Megan Stecher, and that's spelled MEGANSTECHER.
You guys can follow me everywhere at Jessie J. D'Angelo.
And I'm everywhere at Lexie Stack, Lexie.
Wonderful. Thank you guys for coming in, talking summer TV.
Thank you.
And there'll be more to come, a lot more stuff. I'm going to keep an eye on this Bill Cosby for me, myself, and I for a little bit longer. All right, we'll be back with more rants to come.
This has been Grant's Rants. Support the Rants on Patreon. Follow us on Twitter at It's Grant's Rants. Cover art created by Howie Ronay. Voiceover by Aw Yeah. Original theme music composed by Alexander Arntzen. The Grant Michael Collection.